This one's for all my pre-retirement brethren and sistren out there. Sistren? Is it sistren? You're never too old to draw and learn how to art. If you grew up on cursive writing, this video is probably for you. Where are all my Gen Xers out there, huh? Probably at a doctor's appointment or a chiro or something, huh? Oh, I'm back. And just a friendly reminder, it's probably time to schedule that prostate exam. For those of you out there in that middle-aged category like myself, you may have hit that magical decade where you realize you're closer to the grave than you are the cradle, and you think maybe life's over and you really don't have much room for anything else. You're never too old to learn something new. And I would highly recommend anybody at any phase of their life take up a creative pursuit. Now, if you've always had a desire to be an artist, or you've had it in your head you wanted to draw, or you used to draw a lot when you were young, but you kind of talked yourself out of it over the years, hopefully this video can inspire you to pick up a pencil again and start learning how to art, even if you have to jump on a new tool and learn it the new way, the new school. Bring a little of the old school to the new school. Let's just face it, the younger generation out there, they're smarter on technology than we are, all right? You're just gonna have to get used to that. You're gonna have to get over that fact, just right now. Just accept it. That doesn't mean you can't learn something new, so let's do that. Let's do something new as a midlife crisis. No, that's not. This isn't a midlife, totally not a midlife crisis at all. What are you talking about? But do something new. Don't be afraid to try something new in your middle age or whatever. If you want to learn how to draw, that's what this one's for. This is a shout out to my Gen Xers out there who are trying to find something to do with themselves in life that is creative. Maybe it's time for you to pick up a drawing tablet and a computer and learn something new. Learn something cool. Jump in with the cool kids. Don't be scared. And if you're just a young gun coming up in the art world out there and you're looking for tips and tricks and points on how to get started with this kind of thing, that's where we're gonna start today. This is the foundation of that. So let's talky and more artsy fartsy. All right, there's no getting around it. If you're gonna learn how to digital art, you're gonna have to get a computer. Sorry for you old dogs out there, but you're just gonna have to get a computer. And I prefer Clip Studio Paint over Photoshop. I'll do a photo or video on that in the future about why. After using Photoshop for years, I have abandoned it almost completely. While I still may use it on occasion for photo editing and stuff like that, I generally don't touch the stuff anymore. Clip Studio Paint. This is one of those programs that has more capabilities than most digital artists will ever actually need. It's got a very simple tool setup. If you look around, the user interface is pretty friendly. You got brushes here, you got your tools here, your brush attributes here, which you can go in here and very easily manipulate the attributes of your brushes without too much fuss. Takes a little bit of practice to realize and figure out what is what in here and what it does to what and all that good stuff. But this is really the most user-friendly brush engine that I've found. You have your brush sizes over here, super simple. You have your canvas here, right? You have your canvas navigation, in and out, all that good stuff. You can navigate it. You can set it to the screen size. You can maximize it to the center. You can you can zoom in on where you're at and where you're drawing, and then you can zoom right back out. Really easy. You can rotate it, and you can reset it. You can flip it. You can flip it back. You can flip it up. You can flip it down. Really not a super complicated setup here in Clip Studio Paint. Now this used to be called, I think, Manga Studio, Manga something or other, and I used it years ago, but I didn't get super familiar with it until just recently. I started really playing into it and leaning into learning this program to do the last couple of images I've done. You got your layer palette over here. So layers, pretty simple setup. They each have different layer, modes you can apply to each layer, the layers below it, and all that good stuff. So you have a lot of the cross-compatible aspects that Photoshop has, but it's just simplified, a little bit more user-intuitive, and costs a lot less. I've got Clip Studio Paint Pro, and you can get the EX version for like $250. I got this version, the Pro version, I think is like $50. So $50 for the license that you pay one time, and it's yours, and you actually have the software and you can use it. If you want to put it on a device like an iPad, you can pay for a subscription service to the iPad, which is kind of annoying, but it is kind of understandable since people will switch through devices really quickly and through a lot of different devices. And you can also move it to a different device If you want to use somebody else's device or use a guest device or something like that, you can actually move your license to that as you're working. So that right there alone for Clip Studio is one of the major benefits. Just cost. The cost is less. Let's write it down. Cost less. It's non-subscription. Non-subscription. Like Photoshop, they decided to go with the subscription service, so you never actually own the software, and it's not yours. If you don't pay your extortion tax every month on that thing, they can take it from you, like your house with the government. We won't go down that road. Anyways, let's carry on with Clip Studio. Clip Studio, you've got the ability to make file sizes in just about any capacity or color space that you want. It's just I mean, there's so much you can do with it. You've got the ability to do print style, B5 size, stuff like if you're doing a comic book or whatever, you've already got kind of baked in file types you can use for that. There's animation capability. There's also an animation capability, which is amazing. Let me open up an old image here, or an older image, a more recent one that I did not too dang long ago. I actually just finished this one last week. You have layering capabilities just like Photoshop in every way. Right, you can do just about everything you can do in Photoshop. And you got this really beautiful thing here where you can set the tone of the background paper to any color you want. And it's kind of baked into the program. So all of the capabilities you would find in Photoshop for layering and digital image making, so the creation of digital images, are there. It just tends to work a little better than Photoshop because it's a little simpler. It's a little more streamlined. It's not as complex. It has near the level of complexity capability, but it's just not individually as complex. So what I'm working on right here is just a new concept idea, and it takes me longer to conceive of ideas than it does for me to actually draw them and render them. So I'm a slow burner when it comes to that, and I always kind of stick to just kind of a generic way of starting, and that is with a head or a gesture form, like say a gesture. And I'm trying to break out of this static gesture language that I always kind of stick to. So I'm trying to get a little more dynamic with my gesturing. And this is just a pencil. This is the baked in. This is actually the default pencil, but I made some tweaks to it in the way that the textures, in the way that the spray is, or something like that. Or is it spraying effect? Is it spray? I don't know. I adjusted it somewhere. This shape right here, the material shape. I adjusted that, and I don't remember exactly what I did to it, but I just pulled the pencil up and I fooled around with it until I liked the way it drew, because I like a little bit of texture with my line work. You zoom in, see that? I like a little bit of texture with the line work. That adds kind of that more natural feel. I'm using a Wacom Cintiq 24 HD with their pen, and it's kind of an older machine, and its resolution's not the same as my brand new iMac, but it still works pretty good. I'm going to upgrade this shortly to a Huion. I'm either going to go with the Canvas Pro 19 or the 24. I haven't decided yet, but that's going to be my next. So this is kind of a hero pose. We're going for the hero pose here. I'm trying to come up with a character for Training Angels that's kind of like our hero, or even maybe our anti-hero. But I'm just struggling with getting there. I haven't quite figured the character out yet. So using the pencil tool on a line layer, a layer just specifically for sketching and line work, just trying to figure out what I want to do. We're going really loose right here. So the concept I have for Training Angels is kind of a steampunk cyber or sci-fi vibe, set in an anachronistic world of a future planet with technology that's failed, science fiction technology, but we're on the back end of a catastrophic civilization collapse in a failed technological I guess you could say, planet, but it's a colony. It's a colony from that was settled, you know, centuries and centuries prior to with by space explorers or something like that. That's just kind of where I'm. It's a rough idea I got here. Let's flip the canvas. You can set your toolbar up over here, really nice and nifty, to flip your canvas easily. You can put all these little tools out here. There's multiple settings. You can come in here and, you know, do that. We'll get into that more in further videos, but moving objects around on paper is super easy. You either just hit this button and it'll grab everything that's on that layer, hit OK, or you can take a lasso tool and you can lasso a certain part, move it around. You can actually manipulate it on just one portion, you know, like distort it, or you can manipulate the whole thing, moving it individually, and then boom, deselect, you're done. Another wonderful thing about this program that is much simpler to use than Photoshop in a lot of ways. Not only does it cost less and you own it and it's yours and you can actually use it and have it and keep it and do your things with it, put it on your computer, but it's just easier to use. So, all right, we kind of got the muscular frame here of our character. He's young and youthful, but still strong and stout. So we're gonna have to mess with proportions here and stuff like that. But this being just an intro to Clip Studio Paint, I really just wanted to get this canvas in front of you guys and show you my setup. This is my setup. It's as simple as it gets. It works really well on a 24-inch screen. And it's just the basics. It is just the basics. You have so many other tools nested in here you can do all kinds of wild things with, and you can set tools up here for your shortcuts to do just all manner of things. And it's something you really have to play around with a lot as you're going. But if you're looking for a tool as a new digital artist or an aged artist looking to jump into the digital space, I would highly recommend looking into Clip Studio Paint over Photoshop. Photoshop is complicated and expensive / annoying. So I have used Photoshop for years. Don't get me wrong, I've used Photoshop for years, but I've just gotten tired of the subscription service, and I will be canceling that soon because there are plenty of alternatives out there today for that you don't need to get pigeonholed into paying that extortive, you know, monthly or annual tax to own what you own and use what you own, because you can actually own it. So like Photoshop, like many of the tech industry giants, has kind of gone to that socialist type of program. You never own anything and you will be happy and pay us the money. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that Photoshop. Well, we got us a well muscular little hero here. Let's put a neck on this guy to make it kind of grounded. Hey, look at that. Ayo, all right. We've kind of got the foundations of something here, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the subject of our next drawing video. I'm going to actually just work through the entire process for my dinosaurs out there on how to use Clip Studio Paint for drawing and rendering. You can also draw in pen and pencil, paper, all that good stuff, and then scan it in, and then utilize those scans, capture that line art. But I personally find this to be the easiest way. Just draw straight into the computer, because that's where I'm going to end up anyway, 9 times out of 10. So, all right, that's not too bad. Let's put some wings on that bad boy. Wing it. You gotta wing it. Because we are training angels after all. Maybe. That might be a little too epic. I don't know. We'll see. I don't like doing legs, so we're just going to cut those off there. Yeah, got that youthful, kind of bulky, you know, young boxer look. That's cool. We're going to go with an anime style on this guy. Kind of. I don't know. I'm not really great at doing anime. I kind of get stuck in this between worlds thing of between anime and Western comic-y style, so Kind of still fleshing that out. Anyway, Clip Studio Paint. If you're looking for something to get started in, I would say user friendliness 10 plus. Yay! It's a 10. 10 plus. As far as user friendliness, ease of learning, and capability. Overall capability. You can create anything in this, just about. Photo editing, not so much, but that's not what it's made for. It's a digital illustration tool made for artists like you. Okay, thank y'all for joining me again. This is just an introductory video to Clip Studio Paint for the old dogs out there. Get out there and learn something new. Follow me in this path and in this journey of actually using this program to create artwork. So here we are. Let's get to it.